Welcome to the Shreveport Connection with Tommy and
Steven. Yep.
Alright, this video is on the pay-per-view for WWE tonight. Remember what it's called? It's so memorable? Night of Champions.
Yeah.
We give it a total rating. I gave it out of 5 possible stars, about a 4.
Yeah, I gave it a 3.5 because it had the 2 title changes.
That's why I gave it. That's why I gave it a 4, because it was a surprise to me.
Well, the Divas matches.
And of course, some WWE news and some wrestling news around the world. We'll start off with Eve Torres announcing on Twitter on Thursday that she is engaged to Renner Gracie, her boyfriend of several years. Congratulations to her. And she enclosed a photo of the engagement ring, and she tweeted, "I've never been so happy in my life."
Oh, that's a Gracie.
At Renner Gracie. Yeah, so you can follow them on Twitter.
Yeah, that's a Gracie Jiu-Jitsu Academy. She's a Gracie. Pretty good kid. Anyways.
Expect the likes of Alex Shelley, Velvet Sky, Devon, Angelina Love, or even the Hall of Famer Ric Flair to pop up in a WWE ring anytime soon. According to Wrestling Observer editor Dave Meltzer, Vince McMahon's company is steering clear of any and all recently affiliated TNA wrestling talent, while the two grappling organizations are grappling in court.
Yeah, because of Rick.
And on May 23rd, 2012, TNA Entertainment LLC filed a lawsuit in Nashville, Tennessee against World Wrestling Entertainment, Inc., and Brian Wittenstein, a former office worker for both organizations. TNA accused WWE of obtaining secret contract information in an attempt to poach their talent in violation of Tennessee's Uniform Trade Secrets Act. Wittenstein, who worked for TNA Wrestling for 3 years, was terminated on August 3rd, 2011. At that time, he entered into a separation agreement and general release, preventing him from disclosing certain confidential TNA information. TNA alleges that Wittenstein violated the agreement by downloading confidential TNA trade secrets and providing that the information that WWE after joining the organization months later. Although WWE fired Wittenstein and alerted TNA officials as to the disclosure of the information, TNA claims that WWE waited 3 weeks to notify them and has used the confidential information, including data regarding wrestler compensation, to recruit contracted TNA talent to work for WWE. Of course, they have the 90-day policy in between each back and forth. And Wittenstein's contract with TNA had specifically ordered that he not share confidential information about the organization after his employment ceased. My guess is both companies will seek compensation from him.
Yeah, he'll get screwed. Let me read this part here.
Matt Morgan.
Yeah, Matt Morgan, who had teased joining WWE since concluding his contractual obligations to TNA in June, resurfaced at a Saturday's house show in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, dressed in street clothes. Actually, he just was dressed in pants he didn't have a shirt on.
He took his shirt off and entered the ring.
And entered the ring through the crowd and laid out Robbie E. Messier wrote about on, that's F4WOnline.com message board regarding Morgan's apparent renewal partnership with TNA. I guess it tells you about the TNA lawsuit now since they can't take Morgan. Well, my overview on that is I don't think he was really sold on going to TNA, going to WWE at this time. I think
and he's still doing his cryptic quotes and what have you, like Jericho saying TikTok.
Yeah. And it was actually a pretty good exclusive video. I mean, he laid him out pretty good and just.
And there was actually 2 videos. One was in the back. There was 3 of them.
Yeah, there was 3 of them reported on PW Torch through the iPhone 4 app. One view was from the back, another one was from chasing him down, and the other one was up close at ringside where he actually did lay him out pretty easily. All right. Well, and it was also speculated that Alex Shelley and Ric Flair could wind up in the WWE, but now that the individuals are free agents, Messier, however, reveals that the organization is not negotiating with either talent, despite being legally able to.
And Alex Shelley's 90-day thing is cleared as of last week.
I speculate Ric Flair will come back as a manager, but not as a wrestler.
I've heard through the grapevine that Ric Flair has been in contact with WWE for a certain couple of events coming up.
And if he does come back, that means Triple H doesn't hold the ultimate record for champion.
Exactly.
Goes away, and Triple H has to go back to active wrestling to beat that record.
Following the lawsuit filing, it was reported that TNA was looking to cut costs by restructuring talent contracts when they expired. The ploy appears to have led to the respective departures of Devon and Velvet Sky, who I found just recently has gotten married to another TNA talent, Tommy Mercer, other known as Crimson, and she is also pregnant.
There's also reports, I also read on PW Torch reports about Devon. They talked to a guy from TMZ, talked to Hulk Hogan, and said that him and Dixie Carter are in the works, and the working it out brother is what he told them. So apparently there is some works on Devon's contract with the company, even though he's still technically the TV champion.
Right, but they've already done the contract re-signing with Bully Ray.
Well,
that's already.
That's the main eventer right there. Well, for right now, anyway.
Okay, JBL was backstage earlier at the event from the pay-per-view, so we expected him to be announcing, taking the place of Jerry the King Lawler.
And get well wishes, man.
Yep.
Hope you get well soon.
JR was also backstage, and Cameron, well, she got put back with Brodus Clay.
After her DWI.
Yep. After her 15-day suspension.
Yep.
And also Lita was also backstage, being with her significant other.
Yeah, and the rumors that her and CM Punk are dating.
Again.
If they're not true, CM Punk, we do apologize, man.
Right. And I may have reported in previous video that Wade Barrett was dating Alicia Fox. Well, I was informed earlier tonight from Wade Barrett himself to clear these rumors that he is not. In fact, he is dating Kelly Kelly.
Yeah, he said he's bored with that. What's wrong with you?
Yeah, he was in his hotel room all week, bored.
Mm-hmm. I wouldn't be bored with that. Sorry, Wade. I would be.
Quit playing your video games. You won't be so bored.
Exactly. Anyways.
Well, as reported, according to a couple of websites, this morning Layfield reached an agreement with WWE to commentate tonight's pay-per-view as well as tomorrow night's Raw broadcast in Bridgeport, Connecticut. He is replacing Jerry the King Lawler, who continues to recover from a heart attack suffered at this past week's announce booth from Raw. He will be calling the show with Michael Coleslaw.
Yeah, and I've also heard, I think you've heard these rumors that he's going to be going home in the next couple of days, guys. So he's doing well.
Going to the hospital.
But his voice is still not, it's still kind of, would you call it, hoarse a little bit.
Up in the grabs,
yeah.
Ross is also in Boston for non-announcing related business. He often attends pay-per-view events to assist behind the scenes.
Always helped him out.
Cameron, as I was telling y'all about a couple of weeks ago, well, her 15-day suspension has been lifted. And she's also backstage. Her real name is Arian Andrews, as I also
She was the first eliminated contestant off last year's Tough Enough.
Well, she just got finished off of her 15-day suspension, issued at the light of her arrest for driving under the influence alcohol on August 24th in Hillsborough, North Hillsborough County, Florida. WWE officials were reportedly displeased that Andrew did not notify them of her arrest, and she didn't even list as WWE as her employer.
And they didn't even find out until it was online. So she got busted from TMZ finding out. Now that's pretty crazy.
Okay.
You said that Lita was at backstage.
I meant to get a mirror for this because this is the most important Former Diva Maurice Alouette is currently on the lookout for her beloved dog named Flake. The pet escaped from her babysitter's home in Laurel Canyon, Los Angeles, Saturday night while she was in Las Vegas, Nevada, promoting her fashion line. If you go to my Facebook page, you can see the photo of the dog. Almost very similar to my dog, but it's a different color. Yeah. And she tweeted on Twitter, "Please, if you see my dog Flake in Hollywood area, call the number that is on him, on his dog tag, and thank you very much." Yeah. And you can also go to lockers.com. That's LOCKERZ.com /S/244990372.
I think that's her phone number.
I wonder.
Probably is. Anyways.
No, because it's not enough numbers.
It is.
2449. No, it's not. It's one number short.
Short, yep.
Darn. Possibly could have had an interview live on the Freeport Connection.
Could have.
Now we got an NXT on YouTube for this past week. Report by Josh Short. He says the opening videos were shown. Stood at the top of the ramp in ring gear. They made their entrance in a polite response. Byron Saxton checks in on commentary, followed by William Regal. The Usos made their entrance to the little reaction at first, but got a good reaction for the Pyro.
Yeah, they don't get much. They've done a whole lot of time, but they never wind up on the video games. I don't know why.
Yeah, really. That's why we create our own characters for them.
Yeah.
All right, match number 1, Jey Uso versus Kenneth Cameron. Never heard this guy's name before. Both men locked up, and Cameron took Jey down from behind. Jey quickly returned the favor, and Jey sent Cameron to the outside and attempted to gain control, but Cameron hit a big boot out of the corner. He took Jey down and grounded him with a body scissors and a headlock combo. As the crowd chanted, "Cameron sucks," and "You suck," very loudly. Jey tried to come back. However, Cameron countered with a running strike by arm dragging him into the turnbuckle. Cameron rolled around on the ring with a smile on his face before going for the pin. Cameron slowed the pace by pounding on Jey. Jey dodged an elbow drop and hit the usual Uso comeback offense. He went for the near hip attack in the corner, but Conor O'Brien tripped him up. Interference. The rat face. Well, you got Daniel Bryan with a goat face. Well, you got O'Brien with the rat face. Cameron used the interference to hit a superplex neck breaker, a suplex neck breaker for a near fall. As Cameron picked up Jey, Jey pushed him into the ropes and hit him with a flying super kick on the rebound for the win. That match took 5 minutes 28 seconds out of our lives.
Not a big NXT fan, but we can read about it. It's all good.
After the match, Uso celebrated in the crowd as William Regal stated that this rivalry is far from over. We then cut to a commercial. Yeah, internet commercial.
Wow.
I'll let you read the next.
Okay. Yeah, they said it was a good opener, and Cameron was solid in the ring, and Jey also, the Usos are always good wrestlers.
Yeah.
And the guy said, I said a couple of weeks ago that the Ascension would benefit from toning down on the theatrics, and I say here that that when they do it, it makes it for a better match. They're far from more believable and enjoyable when the tone and the theatric is down. They said it was overall a good match. Well, backstage, Dusty Rhodes, apparently he's on the NXT.
Yep.
Was shown talking to a creepy Rob Taylor
Naylor,
excuse me.
Rob Naylor and Rick Victor.
And Victor walked in, and Victor said that he could beat Rollins.
Seth Rollins, he's the champion.
The NXT champion. And Dusty says he doesn't give away any matches against the NXT champion. He said that Victor should have to show him what he can do. And Rick said he would prove himself. Rick left, and then Dusty told Rob that he thought he was pretty good. Well,
back in the arena, Big E Langston. I'm not familiar with this guy, but I've heard the name many times for many years. WWE training and what have you. walked into the arena, clapping chalk on his hands to a decent reaction. His opponent, Chad Baxter, was introduced in the ring to no reaction at all.
That's funny.
It was like a dead crowd.
Apparently this was a squash, man.
So, Big E versus Chad Baxter was up next, and Langston clubbed the crap out of Baxter to begin the match. Baxter hit a couple of strikes and attempted a sunset flip, but Big E picked him up and threw him in the corner. He hit the shoulder tackles in the corner and then threw his head into the turnbuckle. He took Baxter to the middle of the ring and hit 3 rib breakers. Rib breakers? I've heard of back breakers, but rib breakers?
Yeah, well.
Well, he hit a running body splash and took the straps off of his singlet, very similar to Kurt Angle. Whoever else has the singlets and what have you.
Yeah.
And hits the big ending for the win. I don't know what type of move this is. Would like to see it someday. And that match only took 2 minutes 15 seconds.
Basically a squash.
After the match, Langston hits another big ending as the crowd chanted one more time. He then counted his own pinfall of 5. Langston grabbed a mic, and as the crowd chanted one more time again, he said a 3 count was normal, but he isn't. From now on, his opponents will feel the pain and agony of being beaten for a 5 count. He went to leave the ring, but then re-entered for another big ending and another mock 5 count. Backstage, Cassius Ohno was shown sitting backstage in the same clothes he wore backstage last week. He said he tried to warn people that he was dangerous. He said no one seemed to get it. So next week there will be the first ever Ohno sparring session. Afterwards, people would understand how dangerous he was as they go to commercial. Wow, a 5 count gimmick. Who in wrestling history used to do that?
That was off the storyline. You remember the storyline that they had on one of the video games? I think it was like John Cena's storyline or one of those 2 guys where they had this particular group of people that did the 5 count to win the match or whatever. I can't remember. It was like 2011.
We'll skip this guy's comments after that.
Yeah.
But we gave our own. A video package showed lots of different superstars and divas asking, "Where's Trent?" Well, guess what? Trent Barretta has returned to WWE.
Mm-hmm.
A voiceover said that Trent had been missing for 6 months, but will return with a new inspiration. After a graphic saying that he's been found, showed Briley Pierce was shown opening a door backstage where Trent was watching a monitor and eating some kind of snacks. Briley asked him if he wanted to wrestle next week, and Trent simply said yes, in a funny way. Great news that Trent's back. He's a great worker and all. He's very athletic and is extremely fun to watch. His backstage segment with Briley and Pierce had me laughing, and I look forward to seeing him back in the WWE ring.
I've always liked Trent Barretta.
Yep.
Him and
Kayla Croft.
Him and what's his name?
Croft. That was his tag team partner.
Well, I mean, him and Tyson Kidd had a really good match when they were doing tag.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah. Well, back in the arena, Garrett Dillon made his entrance to no reaction. Another guy that I'm not familiar with. He was acting like Trevor Murdoch when he was a babyface and throwing up the devil horns.
Whatever with that.
Well, the crowd popped quite a bit as Damian Sandow made his entrance.
Oh God!
He got in the ring and grabbed a mic, said his usual intro. Instead of competing, he was willing to give Dillon the choice to sit at ringside and listen to the lecture that he had prepared. And Dillon refused, and Sandow disrobed. So you got a match: Damian Sandow versus Garrett Dillon. It's another 2 minute 38-second match. Both men locked up, and Sandow cornered Dillon several times and pounded him with several punches, kicks, and shoulder blocks, etc., etc., etc. Dillon fought back with a shoulder block of his own and a clothesline. He tried to pick up Sandow, but Sandow hit his beautiful rolling Russian leg sweep.
And then hit his elbow.
And then nailed him with the elbow and said, "You're welcome." Hit his cross arm breaker.
Wow.
What's he trying to do? Steal Del Rio's move?
Whatever, dude.
All right. Sandow performed the intellectual cartwheel, and then when the fans chanted one more time, he teased doing it before refusing and leaving. Because he's supposed to be heel and the crowd chanting for him.
Yeah.
Michael McGillicuddy, after their number one contenders match later on the show, and Seth Rollins said he will take on all challengers, friend or foe. Rick Victor walked in and said it was easy to say that you would take on anybody when you're being protected. He asked Seth if he knew who he was. And when Seth said no, Victor threw the most embarrassing slap I've ever seen. Seth looked angry and said he didn't know who he was, and he is now on the top of his list. Raw Rebound highlighted with CM Punk and John Cena's closing segment from, I guess that was Raw. Backstage, Dusty was in his office. Seth Rollins walks in and asking Dusty if he had seen what happened. Rollins demanded a match next week with Victor, and Dusty gave it to him. Saxon then announced that the main event of Tyson Kidd versus McGillicuddy was next.
Oh, interesting paradigm.
Sandow was a riot after the match, simply not performing the intellectual cartwheel after he teased doing it was a great move in heel fashion, which goes so well with his character. Again, very similar to Rick the Model Martel and the Genius character.
Yeah, but
Seeing Sandow was completely unnecessary, but fun to watch.
I don't know. Sandow's pretty good. I like him. Let's see. Tyson Kidd made his entrance with a good pop. He's doing the face character now.
Yeah.
And JR checked in on commentary. Ooh, JR checked in for the main event. Yep. As Michael McGillicuddy made his entrance. An extremely annoying Shaw chant started literally as soon as his music hit. Okay. So we had the main event, Tyson Kidd versus Michael McGillicuddy. The commentators praised the previous matches between these two and how much they were looking forward to this match as both men locked up. Tyson took McGillicuddy down and wrestled McGillicuddy all over the ring until in the early going. He used several different impressive looking moves, faster transitions. Apparently this guy doesn't know any of the transitions. And then Kidd sent McGillicuddy to the outside twice, and then McGillicuddy finally gained control after a kick to Tyson's gut during the test of strength. Apparently they went to commercial after all that. And then back from commercial, McGillicuddy had Tyson grounded with several punches and a rest hold, which is probably like a headlock on the ground there. Then Tyson managed to escape and did a nice sunset flip. Oh, he does know moves. And McGillicuddy kicked out and hit a big club on the back of the head for a 2 count. Then he did this viciously threw Tyson through the corner, which is the shoulder. And then the Let's Go Tyson and then Sha 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 chant started. Okay, that's kind of weird. And then Tyson ended up on the apron and hit McGillicuddy with his signature kick. Yeah, it's a pretty good kick.
Yep.
And then he rolled back into the ring and picked up the pace with several kicks. He hit him with a running drop kick for a 2 count. McGillicuddy rolled up the outside, only for Tyson to hit him with another drop kick through the ropes, which is, the baseball slide.
Yeah. And
then followed with his awesome running kick. It's nice, good. It's nice. This is a nice reaction. Back in the ring, Tyson tried for a springboard elbow, but McGillicuddy countered to his knees. Oh, that's good. And hit the perfect plex for a near fall. Oh, he did the perfect plex. Nice. And then McGillicuddy climbed up to the top rope, only by Kidd caught him, hitting with a hurricane rod in front of the top rope for another near fall. Then both men still being damaged after they did take it. Good God, these guys wrestled for a while. And then when they got back up, McGillicuddy hit the jawbreaker, then went for a back suplex. However, Kidd countered with an ensiguri attempt. Then McGillicuddy countered this one and hit the McGillicuddy for the win, which is basically a running net breaker. And so he beat him in 9 minutes and 30 seconds. And I am convinced those two guys, apparently they work well together, so eventually we'll probably see them soon.
I consider them as veterans. I mean, they've been there like 5 years already.
Tyson Kidd's been champion once already.
All right. JR said the match was fantastic, and Saxon added that the title picture was becoming really interesting, and that brought NXT to a close. Well, we're convinced that these two could not put on a bad match together. They just work so well together and have great chemistry, and we have seen better matches, but not by much.
Some of this is a repeat. Right?
For it's not for seems something like that. No, for weeks NXT has seemed to be solely about getting the crowd into the first NXT champion, as they just had the championship 2 weeks ago, and now that we've seen that, I think we're seeing a show that flows well. The NXT was a great example of that. We now know who the major players are regarding NXT Championship, and we also got character development now for Cassius Ohno and Big E. The NXT roster is full of exciting superstars, and now that we know who the major superstars are, it would be fun to see them develop and see if they actually get back to the big.
We've already reported here that Matt Morgan was at TN Live when a bit. Apparently, he did a tweeting about him tired of being just patient to being paralyzed and most of being sold dreams. I remember reading about this on PW Torch. The real question is, who am I with? Time will tell, and then till then, the little TikTok nonsense he's been talking about.
And you can follow him on twitter.com/BP Matt Morgan. That's BP, meaning blueprint.
Okay. And then apparently you want to talk about the Randy Orton incident.
Well,
a fan
okay.
got him in trouble with.
Following Randy Orton's match with Dolph Ziggler at the Night of Champions, which we'll go into detail very shortly.
That's a good match. Randy
Orton tweeted after the pay-per-view, or after his match, he had a blast tonight. Great crowd in Boston. Sorry if I offended anybody with an inappropriate gesture. Orton did not identify the gesture in the tweet, but upon review of the tape, Orton very quickly flashed a middle finger to no one in particular in the process of swinging his body to the ground for his customary RKO tease.
I never saw that.
I think I did.
Yeah, well.
It was so quick. Like if you wasn't watching it then.
I was watching it when he moved into his little move, apparently. Anyways, it's okay, Randy. It's all good, man. I didn't see it. I ain't worried about it.
All right, we get the pre-show with Matt Striker for the pay-per-view tonight, and Scott Stafford at the commentary table. Stafford says Michael Colesaw will update us on Jerry Lawler. At the beginning of the pay-per-view, they mentioned the 16-man battle royal that is coming up to determine the United States champion, Antonio Cesaro's opponent, for later tonight. We then transition into videos hyping Sheamus versus Alberto Del Rio, including SmackDown General Manager Booker T's decision to ban the Brogue Kick.
Good news.
Back in the arena, Josh Matthews asked Booker T the progress of his decision to ban the Brogue Kick. Booker says the only thing that we need to know is that the kick is still banned so far. And then we get the hype video for Antonio Cesaro. And the pre-show match is a battle royal. Number one contendership.
Pretty decent battle royal.
And one of the 16 men that was not in it, as he was advertising all week long,
You thought was
Alex Riley.
But he wasn't even in it.
And he wasn't even in the match at all.
But
most of these guys were like tag team wrestlers anyways.
One of the guys made a tag team appearance again.
Yep.
His return.
Everybody in the ring is like, okay. You got Heath Slater was in the middle of the ring doing his little rock band crap.
Doing his heelish character, and as soon as the bell rings, they all jumped him and threw him out the ring.
Yeah. So he was the first man eliminated. Actually, McGillicuddy was out next, then Ted DiBiase Jr. Primo was eliminated by Clay. Mahal was out next. Clay then eliminated Epico. Tensai eliminates Gabriel and Kid. Santino tries to take down Tensai and Clay.
All he did was run into him.
He's like, you got the Cobra. Nails him. Tensai falls down real quick, selling it.
Yeah. And then, well, actually, that's when he tried to do like they were sitting in the middle of the ring, and he tried to do some kind of, I guess, clothes on or something, and they just stood there, and he's like, oh, I'm sorry, and they both, it didn't even knock him over.
Yeah.
And then those two went at it for a while, then Miguel Cady Young and Phil Elvers got eliminated by Clay, because Clay was on an elimination streak. And then Santino eliminated JTG, Ryder then eliminated
McIntyre,
and then they were down to 5. And then Santino grabs the Cobra.
Yeah, this is where I came in.
Yeah, and he actually hits Tensai with it, and then he tries to pin both of them.
So I was making my delicious queso.
Yeah,
it was spicy.
He pins both of them, thinking it's an elimination match, and then all of a sudden he tries to pick up Tensai, and I think Tensai just throws him out after he tries to attempt to pick him up.
Yeah.
And then he takes a seat, and then let's see, and then O'Neal eliminates Santino. That's right. O'Neal eliminated Santino.
Yeah. And
then the Primetime players try to double team Tensai, but
Final 4 are Young, O'Neal, Ryder, and Tensai.
Yep.
Ryder eliminates O'Neal, and Tensai eliminates Young.
Yeah, because
Ryder hits him.
O'Neal tried to run towards Ryder. Ryder pulls the rope down. He runs over his own thing, and then I think as what's his name? Darren Young was trying to eliminate Zack Ryder. Tensai had gotten up at that point, pushed over Young, and then Zack Ryder kind of pushed his way back in. And then I think
because he only went to the ring apron.
Yeah, and then it was on the turnbuckle, and the Tensai tried to do like some kind of run in, and Ryan threw his legs up, hit Tensai in the face, and then I guess he went for the Rough Rider. Tensai countered it, and then as you can see here, did a head scissors over the top rope
to win.
And then he.
After the match, Josh Matthews interviews Ryder. If he can win the title later on tonight, Ryder says, "Woo, woo, woo." And you know it. It's so predictable.
But what he did was he said, "Woo, woo, woo," and he took the mic up, and the crowd said, "You
woo,
know
woo,
it."
Woo, woo, you know it.
Yeah.
Winner number 1 contender, Zack Ryder.
The true Long Island Ice story.
We go backstage. Josh Matthews says CM Punk is refusing to talk for an interview, and Paul Heyman walks up. Heyman corrects Matthews' grammar and walks into Punk's locker room. We then see CM Punk and John Cena hype video to close the pre-show. Night of Champions results. Opens up with a highlighting the CM Punk John Cena feud again. Then we go live to the arena in Boston, Massachusetts. And
Cena's home.
For those that don't know, you better call somebody because the Royal Rumble, the Royal Rumble will be in Boston again.
And that's where Stone Cold Steve Austin won his very first WWE Championship.
Yeah, Michael Coleslaw welcomes us to the show. Coleslaw gives a update on Jerry the King Lawler, and the Jerry chant breaks out in the crowd. Coleslaw says that Lawler will be going home to Memphis later this week from the hospital. Out comes Lawler's replacement for the night. A surprise, John Bradshaw Layfield.
Gotta love JBL.
In heel form. And I get this, Michael Cole is a face announcer.
He was a face announcer because JBL has always been a heel character.
Yep. And the first matchup is your Intercontinental Championship. Which was a 4-way match.
Which was kind of surprising that they actually put that match first because it was actually a pretty decent match.
Yep. Miz versus Cody Rhodes versus Rey Mysterio versus Sin Cara.
The two faces versus the two faces.
Before the match, Miz cut a promo saying he's going to file a complaint against Booker T for making him defend his title against 3 guys in one night.
He said not 1, not 2, but 3 guys.
Rhodes squares off with Sin Cara and Mysterio, as Mysterio and The Miz do the same. Sin Cara takes out Rhodes, and Miz as Rhodes and The Miz go to the outside, leaving Mysterio and Sin Cara in the ring. Rhodes and Miz get back into the ring and double team Sin Cara. Sin Cara comes back and takes both men down. Rhodes goes to the outside. Sin Cara arm drags The Miz out of the ring. And Mysterio sends Rhodes back to the outside. Mysterio and Sin Cara begin to battle it out. Sin Cara takes Mysterio down, but Mysterio comes right back and takes him down with a head scissors. But The Miz breaks it up at 2. Rhodes and Miz take control back, and Rhodes goes for a pin on Sin Cara, but Miz tries to break it up before Rhodes even moves. Rhodes and Miz then duke it out, and Miz elevates Rhodes over the top to the floor. Mysterio gets the Miz back and gets a 2 count before Sin Cara breaks it up. Sin Cara and Mysterio double team the Miz and send him to the outside. Mysterio and Sin Cara battle again, and Mysterio trips him into the corner. Mysterio gets up top, but Sin Cara takes him down. Rhodes gets back into the ring and takes Sin Cara down and gets a 2 count. Rhodes turns his attention to Mysterio and takes him to the top, but the Miz got back in the ring and suplexes them both to the mat. Miz puts Rhodes for a 2 count and gets a 2 count on Mysterio. Miz tosses Rhodes to the outside and focuses on Mysterio. Miz hits Mysterio with the DDT and goes for a cover, but he kicks out at 2. Mysterio slides to the outside, and Sin Cara takes Miz down with a missile drop kick. Sin Cara takes himself and Miz down to the floor as Mysterio takes Rhodes down to the outside. Sin Cara hits a corkscrew on the Miz back in the ring, goes for the cover, but Miz kicks out at 2. Miz comes back and clotheslines Sin Cara in the corner, but Mysterio comes back and takes Miz down. Mysterio goes for the cover, but Rhodes breaks it up. Rhodes hits Mysterio with the face buster and goes for the cover, but Sin Cara broke that up. Rhodes goes after Sin Cara, but Sin Cara reverses. Miz tosses Sin Cara into the corner and goes for the skull-crushing finale on Mysterio, but Mysterio sends him into the ropes for the 619 and connects. Mysterio goes for the splash on Miz and covers him for a 2 count as Rhodes broke that up. Rhodes salts away at Sin Cara and tosses Mysterio to the outside. Sin Cara kicks Rhodes in the head and pulls out a mask and puts it on Rhodes. But Miz comes in and hits Sin Cara with a neck breaker for a 2 count. Sin Cara puts the mask on the Miz and Rhodes goes for the crossroads on Sin Cara. But the Miz catches Rhodes with a skull-crushing finale while he can't even see from the mask because it's turning around backwards.
Because he never put it on Cody Rhodes. So that's incorrect. They never made it.
Both of them had it on.
I never remember Cody Rhodes ever having the mask on that match.
Both of them had it on because Rey Mysterio had one and Sin Cara had the other one. And they both put one on.
Well, anyways, he just did the skull-crushing rally on instinct and naturally pinned him for the win. And
he didn't know who he was doing it on.
Yeah.
And there we go. So you got Miz retaining.
Which is okay. It's fine.
We go backstage and we get the Primetime players complaining with Eve. Eve spots Caitlyn down on so somebody comes up to her and tells her that
Caitlyn's down on the ground.
Caitlyn's down. This was my thing. That I predict Eve was involved in this the whole time, so she can get her title back.
It's a possibility.
That's my prediction, and that will probably be laid out on Raw or SmackDown for this week.
I mean, nobody really cares about the Primetime players.
So apparently, Caitlyn now has an injury in her first ever big time match.
Yeah.
Then we get a video portraying the recent events of Daniel Bryan and Kane's anger management classes.
Yeah, they're hugging.
Boring crap.
Yeah, their hugging session.
So we get the Tag Team Championship match, first title change of the pay-per-view.
Kingston and R-Truth versus Daniel Bryan and Kane. Interesting.
Yep. Go ahead.
All right. Okay. First of all, Daniel Bryan and Kane argue about who's going to be first, and then Kane just kind of pushes him off to the side and says, I'm going to start. So Kane and Kofi Kingston.
Go on this one.
Huh?
Go on your own on this one. This was a long.
Okay, well, Kane and Kingston start off the match. You know, Kane tosses him over the top rope. He hangs on, tags in Truth, and then double team. Kane catches Truth and overpowers him, delivers an uppercut. Basically, to me, in this particular match, I'm not going to read the whole
That's what I'm
thing.
saying. There's a lot that we put in
Between
here.
the two of them, they were basically just kind of showcasing
Who's the better
guy, and then the very end of the match, actually, it was pretty good.
It's a reversal of what they did on SmackDown, basically.
Yeah.
Kane, on SmackDown, Kane chokeslammed Daniel Bryan.
Well, this time it was
on him for the pinfall. Well,
because I think
Daniel Bryan
did his finisher, one of his signature moves, where the guy's at the turnbuckle. And
yeah.
It was Kofi Kingston did his missile drop kick to the turnbuckle, and then Kane tags himself in and says, "I got it." Well, he saves him because Kane gets on the top rope, and then he hits Kane. Kane falls on Kofi Kingston. And
for the pinfall.
1, 2, 3. And now they were both screaming, "I am the champion."
Yeah.
Tag team champion.
I am the tag team champions.
Yeah.
Both of them back and forth.
Yeah.
And, of course, they're backstage back with Eve and Teddy Long and Booker T talking in the office discussing the Divas Championship situation. Teddy says he doesn't know what they're going to do, and Eve says that there are no other Divas in line for a shot. Booker says she is wrong. Gives her the title match.
Go figure.
So we get match number 3, the United States Championship match.
Overall,
Antonio Cesaro with Oksana versus Woo Woo Woo.
You know it. And actually, it wasn't really bad. It was actually a really good match.
Yeah, pretty decent.
Yeah, let's be honest. I think I could really honestly see those two guys wrestling each other again on SmackDown for the title.
Yeah,
or
again.
having some kind of feud between the two of them.
Yep, because they are advertised against each other again when they're live on November 27th.
So this feud
live SmackDown taping.
Here.
Okay, we're just going to go to the end of it. Ryder set up for the Broski boot. Oksana pulls Cesaro out of the way. Cesaro connects with the
uppercut.
With an uppercut and then hits a neutralizer for the pinfall.
So
winner is still U.S. champion Antonio Cesaro.
2 out of 3 have been retained so far.
Then we get the advertisement for Saturday Morning Slam.
And then you're seeing all the Alberto Del Rio, David Otunga, and Ricardo Rodriguez backstage. Ricardo didn't have his neck brace on, and they told Del Rio to tell him to put it back on because Otunga. They actually had more to talk about because apparently Otunga had colleagues from his lawyer school in the audience, and then he asked, and then after that, Otunga asked Del Rio how to say the word "stupid" in Spanish, and then he. Called him that, and then he put the neck brace back on. And then the next match was the only non-title match of the entire show, which was Dolph Ziggler and Randy Orton. This match was probably the best match of the night.
Yeah,
I think so.
Yep.
These guys work really well together. Dolph Ziggler does a fantastic job of being a heel.
Of course, the main events, these two, this match and the main event was a match of the night.
Yeah, well, the Cena, we'll talk about that later.
Yeah, that's a screw job.
It is a screw job, but I mean, it was pretty good. It's back and forth between the two. A few high points, I guess.
A lot of reversals.
A lot of reversals was really good. And they did the scoop. He did the. It's not a power slam, by the way, Michael Cole. It's a scoop slam. He's scooping him up.
Yeah, because he's like falling with the guy.
If it was a power slam, he'd pick him up and throw him down.
Pick him up himself. And do
That's called a power slam, but when
he's coming off the ropes, it's a scoop slam.
It's a scoop because he's scooping him up for the slam there.
Yeah, the power slams, you're picking the guy up on the shoulder yourself and doing it.
And basically, the way it ended was Ziggler gets his foot on the rope because Randy Orton did his patented. He did his patented DDT on the outside.
Oh yeah, draping DDT on the shoulder, the railing.
The shoulder railing,
yep.
And pow, right there on the pavement. That hurt me. Then he goes for the RKO. He shoves him off and then rolls up for a 2 count. And then
Orton came back and countered off the sleeper hold.
Because he got in the sleeper hold.
And hits the RKO for the pinfall.
Yeah, because Ziggler jumped up and then Randy Orton caught him for it. Because Randy Orton apparently countered whatever move he was supposed to do.
Yep. And
Ziggler makes it look so easy when he does it.
And then we get the crappy Divas match.
We're not even going to read that one either. Basically, there's a kind of a...
Long story. Eve is your new champion.
Yeah, apparently Layla drop kicks Eve in the face, comes off the ropes, but Eve moves out of the way, connects with her patented neck breaker, and it was pretty quick.
Yeah.
It looked like a crossroads.
Yeah, that's what it was. It's like crossroads, real quick. Winner and new champion, Eve.
Yeah, and then you see Daniel Bryan backstage and saying, "I am the tag team champions," but he walks up to Dr. Shelby, and Kane walks up saying the same thing, and they argue for each other, and then AJ walks up screaming at them, and then Dr. Shelby asks them if they're having anything to say, and Bryan congratulates Kane. Kane walks away, and then he dumps a Gatorade cooler, which it wasn't Gatorade because it actually I think it was water.
Yeah,
and I'm going to see Disneyland. And it actually got a little Triple X rated there.
I'm the winner. I'm going to Disneyland.
Actually, got a little more than
that was hilarious.
PG. It actually went from G to PG because you could see AJ's bra through her shirt. It was kind of funny. And then it had the hyping of the Alberto Del Rio and Sheamus world title match. Which that match,
What
was the kicker was before the match, Booker comes out and says he concluded the investigation that he announced, and he said more than just all this. He said, when you are a WWE superstar, you do put your body at risk. So he said, forego that announcement that the bro kick is once again a legal move. It's been reinstated.
Yep.
And then quickly, Sheamus goes for the bro kick, but as you all know,
duck.
He moves out the way, and Sheamus hits Otunga. I don't remember him hitting Otunga with the bro kick. That didn't happen.
I don't think Otunga wasn't even in the match at all. It wasn't even the ringside.
Basically, a couple. It was kind of like a back and forth. This one actually was kind of good. It was not really.
We'll go to basically the setup for the finish. W applied a cross arm breaker in the middle of the ring, but Sheamus powered out after several minutes.
He did it twice, actually. Got him in the hold twice and still was able to power out and overpower Del Rio.
Okay.
Applies a cross arm breaker in the middle of the ring,
but Sheamus powered out
and slams into the mat. And then Sheamus goes for the bro kick. And then attempts to duck and applies the crossbreaker again. And then Sheamus vents from tapping, gets his foot on the rope, which is kind of barely got it there.
Yeah.
Has to break the hold. And then Sheamus comes out of nowhere, hits the bro kick, and the pinfall. 3 out of 4 have been retained at this point.
We see a CM Punk John Cena hype video.
This was a good match. These guys mesh really well together.
You got CM Punk with Paul Heyman versus John Cena championship match. Before the match, Paul Heyman was in the ring and cut a promo.
Go figure.
He says he's here tonight to pay respect to a champion who just so happens to be a Paul Heyman guy. Mm-hmm. They tie up. Cena backs Punk in the corner. They have a stalemate before Cena gets Punk in a headlock. Connects with a fisherman suplex. Punk takes Cena down with an elbow, takes him down with a headlock, takedown. Cena shoves Punk off and then nails him with a back body drop. Punk comes back and takes Cena down for a 2 count. Punk tosses Cena into the corner and walks on his back. He connects with a DDT for a 2 count. And Punk wrenches Cena's neck and applies a headlock takedown on the mat. Cena comes back and takes Punk down with a shoulder block, his patented shoulder blocks. Mm-hmm. Punk takes Cena down with a drop toe hold and applies a submission. Mm-hmm. Cena fights his way out and rolls to the outside. Punk dives to the second rope and takes Cena down on the floor. Punk tosses Cena back into the ring and panders to the crowd as Cena connects with a baseball slide. Cena tosses Punk into the crowd and then suplexes him from the crowd onto the floor. Which is,
by the way,
Cena's parents are inside.
And when he threw his shirt, his dad got his shirt because it showed him. And then apparently he does the fisherman suplex from the shoulder barricade to the floor with his mother right there next to him. So anyway,
all right, you took over.
Okay, and then Cena goes for the attitude adjustment. Punk reverses it. Of course, he kicks Cena in the head, but also does, I think, the elbow to the head as well. And then goes for the top rope, connects with the sledge, and takes Cena down. And Cena comes back and takes Punk down, but Punk comes back and kicks Cena with a
midsection,
and connects with a net breaker for a 2 count. Punk comes off the top rope, but Cena goes through and catches him and goes for the AA. Punk escapes again and goes to the outside.
Cena dives through the ropes and takes Punk down on the outside. They get back into the ring. Cena locks in the STF, but Punk gets out of it. Cena keeps control, and Heyman is shown muttering to himself on the clothesline and goes to the top. Punk hits the Macho Man elbow and gets a 2 count. Punk stalks Cena and sets him up for the go to sleep, but Cena counters into the STF. Punk reaches the ropes and gets there to break the hold. Punk hits the
sleep and goes for the cover, but Cena kicks out after 2. And
Punk gets a couple of stomps on Cena a few times and eventually goes for a cover, but Cena kicks out at 2. Cena hit the side slam, 5-knuckle shuffle combo, and the attitude adjustment for a cover, but Punk got the top rope leg drop. No, Punk kicked out at 2. Punk is down on the outside. Cena goes after him. They get back into the ring, and Cena goes for the top rope leg drop.
Cena actually went for a suicide dive there.
I think the suicide dive is a little bit later.
Is it? Okay. Anyways.
Okay, Punk is down on the outside. Cena goes out after him. They get back in. That's where it is. Right there. Cena went after him with a baseball slide. They get back into the ring, and Cena goes for the top rope leg drop, but misses. So he gets a butt bump.
Uh-huh.
Punk gains the advantage and goes for the cover, but Cena kicks out. Punk goes for the top rope moonsault. I remember that because my daughter was in. That's a moonsault. That's a backflip.
And CM Punk misses, moves out the way.
Yep.
And then CM Punk goes for
Cena gets the AA. Get Punk in the
reverses it again and hits the GTS. And then Cena kicks out again. That's 2 go to sleeps that were connected. And he gets up and hits, and he hits the rock bottom on John Cena.
He goes for the cover.
And he goes
Cena
for the cover.
Out again.
Cena kicks out again. And then Cena catches him with the AA, goes for the cover, and then Punk kicks out.
At 2.
And so Punk was connected with 2 AAs and kicked out, and Cena was connected with 2 go to sleeps and kicked out.
Cena sets Punk up in the corner, but Punk elbows Cena in the head, but Cena connected with a German suplex.
Yeah, runs
from the second ropes.
And after the match, supposedly Scott, whatever that guy's name, called it a draw.
Well, we didn't get the.
Referees.
Cena gets Punk up in the corner, but Punk elbows Cena in the head. Cena connects with a German suplex from the ropes for the pinfall after the match. The referees both men say the shoulders were down as the show is ending right there. And apparently is ending. Well, the referee goes out as Cena thinks he's won. And he's got the championship belt.
Ring, and the announcer announces him as
1, 2, 3. Well, apparently both. The referee was saying counted both guys' shoulders down.
But when you see the footage,
and the match is called a draw.
So CM Punk retains the title, was a possible choice. And then while return to the ring, questioning why the ref took the belt away, Punk sneaks behind, nails him with the GTS again, which that's a bunch of bullcrap. He did not do that.
Yes, he did.
He hit him with the belt.
Well, that's all the GTS.
No, he walked up, hit him with the belt, and knocked Cena out cold, and then Cena just checked on it.
Well, anyways, it knocked him out. Either way.
To me, when they showed the video footage, actually when I looked on the WWE website where he actually pinned, Cena's shoulders were never down. It was bunch of bull. So to me, tell me whatever the ref called was incorrect.
Yeah, because his shoulders, they were showing several replays on it.
I'm seeing
it's the screw job.
It's the controversy of keeping CM Punk as champion. So, congratulations, CM Punk, you're still champion.
Yeah, because they got the feud set up all the way, at least to the Rumble. Which I believe that's when you're going to lose the championship belt, Punk.
Yep.
So that's set in stone. That John Cena wins, goes up against The Rock, and The Rock wins at Mania.
Rock wins again at Mania?
Well, Rock wins the belt.
And he keeps it at Mania afterwards, too?
Yep.
Well, this was the pay-per-view review in NXT.
Yep.
A couple other news here.
This was Night of Champions, and that's going to be it for us for this month's WWE pay-per-view. Thanks for watching. God bless. See you next. Stay tuned for All video tomorrow night.